Good afternoon. What we have here is a Husqvarna 440 chainsaw I've had for about 8 years. It's been a good saw, but I've noticed the last few times I've been using it, its clutch has been slipping real bad as I'm going through some heavy timber. So it's time to go through it and see what's going on here, give it a little freshen up. So first thing I'm going to do is take off my side cover here with the wrench provided with the chainsaw as I bought it. Take off our cover there. You can see it's pretty packed full of goo, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that out. But let's go ahead and take our bar and our chain off. Lay that right there. And you can see this clutch has, heated up quite a bit here by the discoloration on there. So I actually went ahead and I ordered a kit online where it replaces the clutch itself, the drum, and it also comes with a new bearing here. So we're going to go through the process of taking this all apart and showing you how to put it back together. So first thing we're going to do here, now that we have that off, is take off this top cover. So this model has these little clips here that you just kind of pry on with a screwdriver, get them loose, and now my top cover comes right off. And now actually, before I go any further, what I'm going to do is take my compressed air on my air compressor and blow all the crud out of all this stuff on this cover plate here and everywhere I can see in the motor here, just to make sure all the fins and everything are clear and we have a nice clean working surface. So I'll pick you guys up after I get that done. Alright, so as you can see, I got her all cleaned out here. We're looking a lot better than we were before I got all that crud out of there. Once you have that top cover off, it's also not a bad idea to take a look inside of your air cleaner here too. So just a little clip right here that snaps back, and your air cleaner pulls right off, and just examine this area here to make sure that there's no crud in here. I've recently cleaned this, so this one's in pretty good shape here, but just something you might want to check if you're doing this job. Then to put it back in, reverse the process, just slides back down in place, and make sure you allow this clip up in here so now it can't go anywhere. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is remove the spark plug, and I'll show you why in just a minute here. So I have my 3/4 inch wrench and socket, the 3/4 inch socket and wrench, and I'm going to go ahead and remove our spark plug. There we go. Okay, so I've done this because I'm going to go ahead and take this piece of string here and stuff it down in our cylinder, and that way I can block the cylinder, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm going to stuff this string down in here, and I'm going to pull on our recoil to block the cylinder, get that cylinder up at the top there, and now it can't move. So now, on our clutch here, there's 2 notches here that are just the right size to put a flathead screwdriver on there. So what you want to do is take your flathead screwdriver, go on that notch, and tap it with a hammer, and that way that's going to try to, clutch is going to try to spin the cylinder. And now that we have it blocked, we can actually pound on it and get it to loosen up. So we'll give her a tap there, and you can see my clutch loosens right up. Now I can unscrew the clutch, and it comes right out there, and we can pull off our drum, and we can pull out our old bearing. So now we'll go ahead and just clean up a little bit of that remaining goo in there, and I'll catch you back in a second. Alright, everything's nice and clean down in there. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to grease our new bearing. So I put on fresh gloves so I don't have any of that crud on there. I have a glob of grease right here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to work the grease all through the pins on my bushing here, or my bearing here. Okay, just take your finger, slide it around, try to get it worked in there really nice so you can see it, poking through the other side. There we go. Okay, that's looking good. And we'll take the remaining grease, put it around our shaft here that the bearing's going to slide on, pack a little bit more in there, and now we can go ahead and slide our bearing back in. Okay, we'll take our new clutch drum, and we'll put a little bit of, oops, dropped her there. We'll put a little bit of grease inside here to help us slide over our bearing. Okay, that's in place. Now take your rag and get the grease off your gloves here for the next part. Now we're going to take our new clutch and we're going to thread that back on there. Okay, so obviously thread it on the reverse of what you did before. There we go. Now I'm going to take my flat screwdriver again, tilt this up, and just give it a little bit of a tap to help set it. Now, there we go. That will actually tighten itself because that is the direction that the motor turns once it's cutting, so it's going to continually, tighten itself up as it's cutting. But there we go. New clutch is installed. So now we can go ahead and take our string back out of the cylinder. I like to pull it over just to make sure that everything still moves as it should. We can go ahead and put our spark plug back in. Okay. Take our 3/4 inch socket and wrench and snug that up. Whoop. There we go. Snug that up. Put our boot back on there. Okay, now we can take our top cap and put that back on there just as we took it off. Okay. Yep, sits right in there. Push in on clip number 1, clip number 2, and clip number 3. All right. Now we'll go ahead and get our bar and chain back in place. So we'll take our bar and chain, put the bar into place right there. And I have to take the chain off the end here to get it around the clutch. Okay. Now we can start feeding the chain around the bar in that top groove there. Okay. Now we can take our cover and work that into place here. There we go. Let's put our nut on to help hold it a little bit. Don't snug the nut completely up because we have to adjust our chain tension now. But just enough to keep everything in place. All right, so we got everything tracking the way it's supposed to. So we can take our tool supplied with the saw and work on adjusting our chain here. There we go. You can see I'm getting tension on the chain. There we go. A little tighter. That's about where I put my chain. So you can see no binding in there. Moves nice and free. Got a little bit of sag there. Maybe I'll go just a smidge tighter. There. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our nut all the way. All right, everything's back together, moving as it should. Only one thing left to do, and that's to go test it out and see if that clutch is grabbing properly. Catch you outside. All right, here we are outside. We're going to do a test cut on this log here and see how it works. There we go, no slipping whatsoever. She's cutting very nice. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope we help somebody out.